One of the biggest cases that I've seen for AI art is the idea that it democratizes art. It makes the idea of art accessible for everyone. People who use this argument in favor of AI art claim that art is a very inaccessible career or an inaccessible hobby. They claim that they don't have the time, the years to put in to learning how to do art, learning how to make their ideas come to fruition. And so AI art democratizes art, makes it the man's art. Everyone can do it now. Everyone has access to the ability to create art without, quote unquote, wasting years of trial and error, education, etc. What this argument fails to realize is that this is not actually democratizing art because you are not creating art. As an artist, as a writer, as someone who makes things, in my opinion, AI art doesn't make anything. You, especially, aren't making anything with it. It's not like Photoshop, where you actually have to take the time to learn composition and learn your skill to put images together. I bring up Photoshop because it's the thing that most people compare AI art to. It's the idea of taking pre-existing images and putting them together. But AI art involves no learning of skill, no creation at all. Something else is making it for you, and then you take the credit. Very similar to how going to the grocery store and buying fruit and making a fruit smoothie with it does not make me a fruit farmer. You going and putting art into a blender and then producing an art smoothie doesn't make you an artist. But I also understand that people do not have the time to put into learning art, and it breaks my heart as an artist. So, how do we actually democratize art? Because it seems that these people that are in favor of AI art, they actually do want to make something, and they do seem genuinely upset that they aren't being given the time and tools to make something. And that I can empathize with, but I feel like people who like AI art are looking at the wrong enemy. The enemy is not the years it takes to learn a skill, and the enemy is not work and effort. The enemy is capitalism. Why do you not have the time to learn that skill? Is it because you're stuck in a nightmarish corporate job that takes all your time? Is it because you have a 2-hour commute to and from your work? Is it because our society does not pay artists and therefore you going to college for art would be seen as a waste of time because you won't get a career for it? Is it because college costs a shit ton of money and therefore paying for college, paying for classes to learn a new skill at any age is actually extremely inaccessible and difficult for your average American? The real way to democratize art would be for our country to invest in education, invest in social programs, invest in UBI, give you the time and space to cultivate your real, true passions and talents, which would allow you then to contribute to society in a more fulfilling way than doing spreadsheets forever in a cubicle. I do believe that people who make AI art, I believe they want to make art. I do. I believe they want to make something. I believe they want to be creators. I believe that they feel like they've lost something and that this is their ability to quickly and easily get it back. But again, I think they look at the wrong enemy. I think they're looking at the wrong problem. They are solving a symptom, which is they don't have time to create. Now something can be created for them in 2 seconds. They're solving a symptom. They're not taking a second to look at what the actual problem is. No hobby, no career will be democratized until our society provides us with the tools and time to learn. And in America, we do not provide people with the tools and the time to learn. It has taken me every single year of my 25 years of life to learn how to create. The craft of writing is difficult. I was in AP art and it was damn hard. Photoshop, video editing, musical composition, these things do take time to learn. And you also can't learn them in a vacuum. In order to learn art, you have to learn art history, you have to learn sociology, you have to learn about where you came from. And these things take a lot of time and effort and energy. And I'm very privileged with the fact that I had the ability to do these things. I had the ability to sit and learn these things. But I also had the drive. I knew that if I wanted to make something, I wanted to be the one to make it with my 2 hands. I wanted it to be mine. I wanted my soul and my vision to come onto this earth by me. And I wonder how many other people would come at art from a place of love if they were given the ability to. One of the arguments for free education and one of the arguments for free college here in the United States is, well, any of these kids could cure cancer. They just weren't able to go to medical school because medical school costs millions of dollars. But I raise you this. How many of these kids could be the next Da Vinci? How many of these kids could be the next Picasso? How many of these kids could be the next musical genius, film directing maven? And we just don't let them because we refuse to teach them. We refuse to invest in them. So much of our society is built on the backs of artists. And if we deny these artists the ability to grow, to become artists, we lose a huge chunk of society. The real way to democratize art is the same way that you would democratize anything. Give people the ability to make it. So when you say that you want art to be accessible, don't think about AI art. Think of education being accessible. Think of history being accessible. Think about museums being state funded and therefore free to enter. Think about what really applies to the idea of making art. Because AI art, again, it doesn't make it. The same way that buying fruit from a grocery store and making a fruit smoothie does not make you a fruit farmer, does not make someone who enters a prompt into a computer a painter. To become a painter, you have to learn how to paint. So blame the people who won't let you learn how to paint.